Hey, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to take you along on a couple of days in which we're going to do some fall homemaking because it's going to take me a bit more than just one day. So we're going to do it in a couple of days. Now, what I already did in order to prep for fall is I decluttered my closet. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I will put it up here as well. So what we're going to do this week is a couple of things. I want to clean the windows. I want to get all my craft items downstairs and make sure that all the things that I like to do in winter is back downstairs. We are gonna make a fun fall wreath with the kids because I like to create my own fall decor instead of purchasing a bunch of things. So that is what we're gonna do, and just a bunch of fun things. So let's get started and dive into today's video. So as I'm washing my windows on the inside, because I'm not going to do the outside today, there is painters coming that are going to paint the outside of our house this week. So I thought, you know what, let's just do the inside. At least that is done. And then I'll do the outside once the painters are gone. But as I'm doing this, I wanted to share a little more about preparing your house for fall and what that could look like. Because what I often see on social media and on YouTube is that people can go very overboard, in my opinion at least, when it comes to getting ready for fall. And they will put all those super fun themed things out and all the seasonal items, and it can look really fun on the outside. And I do understand how some influencers might do that just because it's part of their job, basically. But I wanted to remind you that even though you are not putting all your seasonal stuff out, or you're not having all the money to put all those super fun items out, it doesn't matter. The most important part about preparing your house for fall is making sure that your house is ready. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to have all the seasonal items and all those pumpkins and, well, I don't even know what people put out, but there's so much stuff that you can buy and do, and cushions and blankets, and you can spend so much money just preparing your house for fall, and the only thing you did is make your house look different, right? So I really wanted to remind you that preparing your house for fall, in my opinion, is just making sure that I am ready for the winter season. So what that means is I'm going to deep clean a few items. So like I'm doing now, I'm going to clean my windows. I'm going to grab my craft items, which you will see later on in this video, but I'm going to prepare just a few things that are gonna make me happy in the winter time or in the fall time. So that means just doing some things to get the house ready and not necessarily decorate my house. So that is what you're gonna see in this video, actually. Yes, we did do a craft, but that was partly because I just wanted to do a fun craft with the kids, and I thought, hey, fall just started, let's do a fall craft. But that is the only seasonal thing that I'm going to add to my house. And you know what? That is okay. It doesn't have to look like a fall magazine. It just needs to look fun for you and your family. So keep that in mind when you are going to prepare your house for fall this season. In fall and winter time, I really love to do a lot more crafts. So I actually got all my craft projects out. And I'm going to put them into the basket that is behind our couch over here, because in that basket there's a lot of stickers and happy planners, and I don't really use them. I have a different planner right now that I actually love a lot more, but that's a whole other story. But I'm going to put these things into that basket because then I can just grab it from behind the couch and just do all my projects. So this is the basket, and as you can see, there's a lot of sticker books and all that, which I don't really use right now. So I'm gonna take that out. Now you might be wondering why I have 3 knitting projects. And that is actually a good question. I actually decided that I wanted to teach our 2 oldest kids to knit. So that is what we're working on right now, and I know that it's still tough for them, so I don't expect them to knit their entire scarf. So what I do is every once in a while I add a little part to it. But this is obviously for my daughter. This is for my oldest. He is doing his own scarf, and then this is the one that I'm making for our youngest. This is just a tiny scarf in brown. But that is just, there's 3 projects right now, and I basically like to do all of them, but it's mostly for my children because I just want them to learn how to knit. And I really think that it's a fun skill to learn, because there's so many skills that I think are just useful to know, right? So I want to teach them how to knit, how to sew, how to crochet, embroider, all those crafts things. But I also want to teach them just basic life skills. And this, for me anyway, is part of those basic life skills. So we are gonna teach them how to cook and how to do laundry and all those things. But this is also a fun part of it. So we're gonna teach them how to knit. So this is all going into this basket. And then we have the 3 projects in there. And then they can grab it whenever they want to. My son actually really likes it. So we might need more projects. And then I also have this one, and I put it in here, but this is actually a blanket that I'm crocheting, and you can't really tell, but I'm just using a simple stitch, just because then I don't have to think about it, I don't have to count, I just do it whenever I like to do it, and when I have time, instead of having to count and having to finish a certain row, I just go until I don't want to anymore. So that is why I basically quit halfway through the project. But that is also something that I want to put back in here. So I have a bunch of black yarn that I'm going to put in there as well. And of course, my crochet needle. So that is all going to go in here. And I just like it because in winter and in fall time, it is just really nice to do things like this. In summer, it's way too hot for me to have this on my body because this will lay over my lap and it's just way too hot. But in winter, I love the coziness of just being able to knit with candlelight, and I just love it. So this is definitely something that helps me prepare for fall, and I'm very excited to get this started. So this is going back behind the couch, but there's way more projects that we're gonna do to prep the house for fall. So one other thing that I really love about fall is having roast. So I got this defrosted and I'm going to prep this for tonight, and I really love putting that on the stove and having it go for 4 or 5 hours. So really slow cooked roast meat is so delicious. So that is what we're gonna make right now. So for the roast, I'm keeping it very simple. What I do is I just put pepper on both sides of the roast itself, and then I just sear it in the pot. I added some butter to the pot, and I'm just gonna brown it on both sides. And then I will just add some onions. I will add some bouillon, and that is basically it. And then it will just simmer on the stove for 4 to 5 hours. Today, I think it was almost 5 hours, but it's just until the meat is done. So sometimes that takes 4 hours, sometimes it takes 5. It depends on the cut. But this is something that me and my family absolutely love because it's such a beautiful way to prepare your meat. And it is definitely something that I do more in fall and winter, because it is okay to stand behind the stove for 4 hours or to have that going for 4 hours. And in summer, it's way too hot to do that. So this is definitely one of the things that I love to do in fall. And my family was very, very happy that I made this today. They devoured it and they asked me to double the recipe next time, which actually means that it's going to be 4 pounds of meat. So I told my husband that that is a little bit excessive, maybe, but anyway, they absolutely loved it, and it's just a great way to make your house smell more fall-ish, and it's just a great way to feed your family. So definitely something to put on my list to do a lot more this fall. So now that we did all that, I just literally let it simmer for 4 or 5 hours and let it cook away until it gets really nice and tender. So that is what I'm doing here. And I actually took the lid off because I did a little bit too much water. So I took the lid off so that water can evaporate, but that is gonna be delicious. So another thing that we're gonna do today is finish our fall wreath. And we actually did our painting the other day. So these are the painted wreaths. I just cut these out from cardstock and they just painted front and back, and we're gonna add leaves on top of it in order to just make it look more fall-ish. So that is what I'm gonna prepare right now. The kids are upstairs napping. I am trying to clean up their mess. And then we are gonna finish these two. I'm very excited and I'm very curious what it's gonna look like because I do love wreaths. So I'm hoping that these two will look awesome, and we have one for our front and our back door. So let me prep that before the kids come back downstairs, and I haven't put everything on the table yet. Now, you might be wondering why I am actually cleaning up all the children's messes, because if you've watched my channel before, you know that we taught our children to clean up after themselves. But today I thought, you know what, guys, you go upstairs, you have your quiet time, and I will do it for you today. And they really, really were so thankful for it. And that is just something that melts my heart. We had lunch together and then they went upstairs and I just had some time to clean up the house, make sure the living room was picked up, and that was all fine. That is what I did, and then I put all the craft items out on the table for us to do our craft later when they were coming back downstairs from their quiet time. So when the children got back downstairs, we basically went to the table straight away. We grabbed our glue and we put all those fall leaves onto the wreath, and they really loved doing this. And it was such a simple craft. I basically cut those wreaths out of cardstock, painted them, put some fall leaves on them, and it looks awesome. They really love the end result, and it was just such a fun thing to make. So definitely something that I recommend, and it's probably something that we're gonna do again for Christmas, because I really want to have a fun Christmas wreath. We might do it a little different. I'm not sure yet, but it's not Christmas yet, so I don't have to think about it yet. But this was definitely something that was super fun to make, and the children really loved it. And it's so fun to just have some time together and to just be at the table and do something fun like a craft as a family. So with our fall wreath done, we have come to the end of today's video. I absolutely loved making that wreath with our children. It was so fun, and it actually looks really fun, even though you can't really see it in the video because there's so much light coming from the back of it. Anyway, it looks really good, and that is what counts, right? But that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got something from it. And I would love to see you in my next video. There's a bunch more videos coming, and we're actually continuing with our Rules of a Biblical Wife. Now, if you haven't seen any of those videos yet, I will link it up here because they have been super fun. They have been really great. So if you haven't seen those, watch them next, and I would love to see you in my next video.